Hi Internet. So yeah, let's start. The current year is 2020. The 20th letter of the English alphabet is T. T-shirts are a piece of garment everybody has. But why do we call them so, and why is the letter T in the front? Two theories exist. The first theory tells us that they simply look like the letter T, hence the name. Pretty simple. But the second theory explains that during the 17th century, plenty of dock workers in Britain wore shirts with short sleeves for easier work. The same workers transported teas and tea shipments, therefore their clothes became known as T-shirts, and after some time simply merged into T-shirts. Taxi is short for taxicab. Taxicab came from two words, taximeter and cabriolet, and after some time both of these words simply got shortened and stuck together. We call such words portmanteau words, since you carry them around and they are together. Taximeter came from tax and meter, meter meaning to measure. Cabriolet came from the French word cabriolet, which means to jump or simply move. Tax, taxi, taxidermy, taxonomy. Taxonomy is a branch of biology concerned with the classification of organisms into different groups by their attributes. So for instance, these good little boys are called Canis lupus familiaris, while these other cute boys, Felis catus. Taxidermy is a method of animal body preservation. Having dead animals still look alive. What's interesting is that all of these words have completely different meanings, but they all come from the same Greek word, taxis, meaning arrangement. We humans like to arrange things and words in groups. Homonyms are words that are spelled the same but mean different things. A ring, to lie, mean as an arrogant and mean as an average. Rulers are used for measuring, but rulers can also rule. Rulers give you rules, but you don't really have to be a ruler to give rules. This Canadian says so. Meet James Naismith, the guy who invented the basketball in 1891 with the first 13 basic rules of the game. His original manuscript of the rules is to this day held at the University of Kansas and is one of the most expensive manuscripts with a price of around $5 million. The first ever basketball game took place on December 21st in 1891 in Springfield College, Massachusetts. Back then they really didn't have the equipment we have today, so they basically took baskets, made holes in them and threw balls inside. Therefore the goal of the game was to shoot balls into baskets. Hence the name, basketball. 48 years later, Mr. Naismith unfortunately dies from a hemorrhage in the brain. Hemorrhage is an escape of blood from a ruptured blood vessel. The rupture is usually caused by a high blood pressure. Basically, the blood was pushing the walls of his arteries too strongly, causing a tear in the walls. High blood pressure is also called hypertension, coming from hyper, very, and tension from Italian tendere, which means to stretch. We and animals included do plenty of stretching in the morning and when we are tired. The scientific term is pandiculation. In the morning, our bodies are stiff and blood pressure is at its lowest. Therefore, stretching, followed by a big yawn, jumpstarts the body. Sleeping is crucial, as we sleep 1/3 of our life away. Neurology is the study of dreams. There is a direct correlation between sleep length and life expectancy. The country with the highest life expectancy is Monaco. The country with the lowest self-expectancy is Sierra Leone. The name Sierra Leone comes from Sierra, meaning mountains, and Leone meaning a lioness. As the Portuguese explorers in 15th century upon arrival saw the mountains and described them as liony. And look, the capital is called Freetown. Freedom is nice, but I can also be freer and freest. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, these forms are actually grammatically correct. And there is a rule. Whenever you are about to write 3 E's, write 2, and save yourself from trouble. Free, freer. See, seer. Seer, somebody who sees or watches. We see and watch watches and stopwatches. That's why this stopwatch will give me 30 seconds to explain the basic anatomy of an eye. So here's your eye, cornea, lens, pupil, iris, retina, and the optic nerve. So a happy ray of light passes through the first layer, cornea, which focuses the light to pass through the pupil and then through the lens. The pupil is a part of the iris, and the iris gives your eye that specific color, blue, green, etc. Then the happy ray of light hits the retina at the back of the eye, And the optic nerve sends a signal to your brain and you experience those beautiful, beautiful colors. The color of the eyes is genetically determined, and the percentage of the world population for each color is shown on this pie chart here. As you can see, blue seems to be the second most prevalent color, but is the third most popular with flags. Only 50% of flags have blue color in them, while white is at the second place with 70%, and at 75% is the color red. Red Hot Chili Peppers started composing and playing in 1983 in Los Angeles. They also played in front of Egypt's pyramids in Giza in 2019. So basically there are 3 great pyramids and 3 smaller ones. The bigger ones are Menkaure, Kaffe and Khufu, while these smaller ones are called the Queen's Pyramids. And as we know, pyramids were built as tombs, and tombs are basically houses for the dead. But the living live in normal houses, and this begs the question, why are roofs triangular? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Rain and snow are pushed downwards and there is automatically less pressure on the roof. And automatically you have more free space under the roof. An attic. And as we know, all cultures do not have the same houses or roofs. Traditional Native Americans had tents which were pretty easy to build and carry around. All you basically needed were 3 sticks and a cloak to build it. Mongols had huts called gurs, designed specifically for strong Mongolian winds, and we all know that Eskimos have igloos. This very photo was taken by Edward S. Curtis, an American photographer who during 20s followed around and photographed Native Americans. And this photo right here is on Wikipedia, free to be used by everybody. Igloo means a house in the Inuit language. The Inuit languages are spoken in northern Canada, Greenland and Alaska, where temperatures are quite low, and it is cold all year round. The coldest place on Earth is Antarctica, where the lowest temperature was measured at minus 89.3 degrees Celsius at Vostok Station, while the coldest place with a population is on Yukon in Russia, where the temperatures drop to around minus 40 to minus 50 degrees Celsius during the winter time. The snowiest place on Earth is Japan, and the iciest unfortunately isn't Iceland as the name would suggest, it's again Antarctica. The Icelanders have an interesting way of naming their newborns. You basically take your name plus your father's name, and then you add son or dochter if you are, well, a son or a daughter. And yeah, that is it from me for today, guys. See ya in the next one. Ciao!